Right, hello there everybody, welcome to the Adam Clery football channel. Adam Clery, obviously, and Bruno Fernandes. He's Man United's biggest problem. Just gonna let that hang. Now, okay, yes, that is a very dramatic way to title a video about a team's best player, but one, welcome to YouTube, and two, Bruno Fernandes is Man United's biggest problem from a tactical perspective and purely within the context of Ruben Amorim persisting with his patented 3-4-2-1 would not have fit in the title bar. So... And just before we start, right quick, a reminder that we have launched channel memberships, which is incredibly fun and exciting. We're not changing anything about the channel as it currently exists, but we're doing more stuff over there, which is going to be more audience focused. You get to pick the videos. There's going to be exclusive videos, FPL League, discounts on merch because the merch is coming. It's going to be the best value channel membership in the world, in my opinion. So if you like all this, you probably like that even more. So join. Anyway though, Bruno Fernandes, we are going to have a look at what is going wrong, why they are persisting with doing that, and potentially how they could even fix it. And the thing that seems to have set this entire conversation around him off is the Phil Foden goal in the Manchester derby. Because first off, Jeremy Doku goes past Luke Shaw like he is some sort of nebulous concept rather than a physical entity. And eventually the ball arrives on Foden's head and he buries it. But a few seconds prior, Fernandes was goal side Foden, and you would say here, regardless of any prior instruction, you've just got to take responsibility there, especially if you're the captain. Just go, it doesn't matter where I'm meant to be, that's my man, I'm going to track him and stop him scoring, which he does not do. Now just... if it's me, right, and remember I am famously difficult and obtuse, a complete nightmare, right? The question I would have in this situation is not about Fernandes. I'd sort of want to know why a team that has 5 defenders and 3 centre-backs is expecting the least defensive of its midfield 2 to be responsible for Phil Foden when he is one of only 2 City players liable to be found by Doku here. Like honestly, just go and look at what's happening in the box when that cross comes back in, right? Like your left wing back is here and your left centre back is here, and this is a midfielder. Like the shape they're defending this situation in, admittedly because Doku has just burst through, has so many things wrong with it before you start pointing fingers at Fernandes. But again, that's just me. And this isn't anything new, by the way. Like, Fernandes got absolute pelters in the Fulham game. Yes, for missing the penalty and having that really weird, you just spilled my pint, mate, interaction with the referee. But also for losing Emile Smith-Rowe for the equaliser. Like, if you're happy to attach Mbermo to Iwobi here, then Man United have 8 bodies defending a scenario against 6. Like, it just really does not feel to me like the expectation should automatically be that you need Bruno Fernandes to track runs into the 6-yard box to stop situations like this happening when you've got 3 centre-backs, and yet somehow game after game it is. There's a moment in the Man City game where he just does enough to put Reinders off here. Like, he doesn't stop the shot or win the ball, but he is at least goal side and makes that chance a lot harder. And if you want to pull apart his sort of like awareness and his determination to do these things, look how far back from Reinders in this move he has to come to even get goal side. Like, he is clearly instructed to do this and trying to do this, just is not very good at it. And if you just go back to the moment in the move where he clearly decides, oh, I better get in there and help out here, Man United are 3v2. He's not leaving them short by not joining in. But instead he recognises that the centre-backs are only interested in defending on this line, just like they were for the Foden chance, and gets in to cover the space in front of them. And obviously, like, I'm not a Man United fan, but if you may permit me to just editorialise slightly here and inject a little bit of opinion, right? I think this scenario happening repeatedly is fucking mad. Amazon, of all people, whipped out this stat last week that said since he arrived in the Premier League, Fernandes has created 138 more chances than any other player. Like, granted, yeah, okay, 3 of the people in this list have left this summer, so they're 4 games behind him, right? But even then, that's 5 years of being the league's single most reliable and prolific creator of chances. So we? Like, are we honestly all going to stand here and actually have a conversation about whether or not he needs to get better at heading the ball away from inside his own 6-yard box when, again, you've got 3 centre-backs? Like, can you even imagine having that conversation about Kevin De Bruyne? I feel like I'm going insane. But the reason we are even here in the first place is all because of the reasons why Ruben Amorim has moved him from one of these front 2 positions to the base of this midfield. Last season, they were, discounting penalties, the worst finishers in the league, over 11 goals down on where the boffins at the XG factory said they were supposed to be. So the priority this summer clearly was to add more reliable finishers at the very top end of the pitch. And they spent a whole load of money, and I would argue they've gone and done that. So much so, in fact, that if you go and look at the exact same stat for both Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, they were actually the league's biggest overperformers. They were getting so many more goals than they were supposed to. You've got one lad who's in the top 2% of the division for that stat, and one lad who's in the top 1% of the division for that stat. And then you combine all of that with the fact that Manchester United were really insecure with the ball at the back last season. They kept giving it away inside their own third, and you can sort of see the logic. You pack these positions with better finishers, and you move your most technically capable, assured in possession player further back so he is around when you're building out, and then theoretically you stop making that number of mistakes, you move the ball forward a lot better, and then when you get it there, you've got better players to finish those chances. I do, if nothing else, see the vision. But would you like to see, so far this season, what difference that has made to Man United? Of course you would. And it's absolutely fucking nothing. Man United are already, after 4 games, more than halfway towards their numerical underperformance from last season. In fact, and this is obviously a ridiculous thing to say and incredibly unscientific, but let's just try and have a bit of fun with it, shall we? If they continue at the rate they're going, in terms of the chances they're making and how they're taking them, they will finish this season with 19 goals scored, despite the numbers saying they should have 72. And I'm obviously not a professional manager or even a qualified data analyst if you want to be picky about it, but still, if I was looking at those numbers and it was my responsibility, I would maybe think I'd done something wrong. And once you really start getting into the weeds of what's going wrong with Man United this season, you realise that by pushing Bruno Fernandes into a much deeper position, they've gone from being a team that created lots of good chances but just weren't taking them, to a team that now still creates a lot of chances, but none of them are really any good, so they don't go in. Like, even the 2 biggest moments against Man City, neither of these are manufactured in any real way. The first is just blasted off Mbeumo's shins, and the Casemiro one is literally just a shot that, like, flashes its knickers at him on the way past. And what's really mad about this, right, is the metric people use to measure chance creation is called key passes. Any pass you make that leads directly to a chance happening. And even though we're only 4 games into this season and he's playing in a much deeper role, Bruno Fernandes is still top of the Premier League for key passes. A lot of this is dead balls or setting his teammates off running from deep, like in the Arsenal game here, he jumps on a loose ball and immediately puts Dorgu in for a shot that hits the post. Like, that is a chance and he made it, but obviously, what are the odds of scoring from this position? Very low. And then when you move from key passes to the value of the chances he's making, like how good are those openings he's creating for his teammates, he drops from the very top of the league to like 20th. When you look at the disparity between these 2 figures, the only conclusion you can really draw is that he's still making a lot of chances because the team are just reliant on him doing that for them, but the chances are no longer as good as they used to be because he can't impact the game the way he used to be / do. So why is that? Well, my very dear friends, this is Bruno Fernandes' heat map from the season as a whole so far. And yes, you're right, a very small pinch of salt required because they have played Man City, they have played Arsenal, those are good teams, but they did have more possession in both of those matches. So it's not like he spent a game camped on the edge of his own box. This is by and large what he is being asked to do this season. While there is, of course, presence in the final third of the pitch because he is making these chances and he will push up, and they do even move in there in the later part of games when they're losing. The bulk of this, the highest concentration of touches for Bruno Fernandes is in his own half. And that is a genuine first for him as a player. Like, if we look at it from 2 seasons ago when Erik ten Hag was using him as a 10, obviously this looks insane because it's so many more matches. That's why it resembles the skin on my face when I was 13. He is in his own half because stuff just happens, but look at how much more time he spends in the opposition half, in the final third, in these channels where he's really good. That's how he impacts games. But if we then go back to this season and overlay his passes from the Man City game before they brought Mainu on and pushed him further up, you can just see what a whole load of nothing his role is starting to turn into. Now, the bulk of his short passing, the majority of the time he's spending on the ball is in his own half, and most of the time when he is able to find a teammate in the attacking third, it's a really long ball from deep. Like, there's a lot of really long diagonals out to the wing backs and the 10s, which are really good and they're accurate and they're well executed. But if you're receiving the ball in those parts of the pitch, you've still got so much work to do yourself before a chance happens. The really annoying part is, if you look at the amount of them that are landing sort of around the box in these sort of slightly wide half space areas, that's where you want Bruno Fernandes on the ball, not passing the ball into. Like, he will make things happen from these areas better than anyone else at Man United. And he's the one putting it there. And let me just quickly illustrate this with a comparison between Bruno Fernandes then and Bruno Fernandes now, right? This is in the Manchester City game. The ball breaks in the middle of the field and he jumps onto it from deep, gets turned, sprays a 50-yarder out to the right-hand side. It's a good pass. It's his best option. Fair play. And this isn't a perfect like-for-like recreation, but just bear with me on this, right? The other year against Arsenal, he's playing as a 10. He again gets on the ball, but this time puts it straight down the middle for Marcus Rashford to get in on goal and score. And you go back to that moment in the City game, Man United have runners. Like, as soon as that ball sort of gets turned over, you can see 2 of them are trying to break in behind the Man City defence. There is potentially an option on there if someone was in position to give it to them. But the problem is Fernandes is getting the ball between the midfield and the attack, not between the midfield and the defence, so he has to turn around. But now imagine instead if he was here. Like, Dorgu can slip this pass through to him. He can find any of these runners and City would be f***ed. Now, obviously, you can't just have a little flight of fancy like this. If you move him here, you'd need someone else to fill in behind. But thankfully, I don't know if Man United are aware of this, you've got 3 centre-backs. There's actually an extra body in this part of the pitch that could be further forward to allow him to be further forward. Call me crazy. Or to put that another way, right, the man required to allow your best creator to be in positions to create literally already exists, and yet they are persisting with this. Now look, right, this video I appreciate is a lot of your time for me to basically just say, hey, Bruno Fernandes is a really good chance creator, but can't really create chances in Ruben Amorim's system, so it's not going very well for him. But the point I want to make here, right, is I could just as easily have done this video about Kobbie Mainoo, the things he's really good at, he can't do in this system. Or Amad Diallo, the things he's really good at, he can't do in this system. And if those 3 players that good, players who have been that important to Man United, either need to be restricted on the pitch in terms of what they do, or just discarded from the club entirely to fit a tactical system, you change the tactical system. Like, I'll hold my hands up here. Like, I was dead excited about Ruben Amorim getting the Man United job. He's an exciting young coach with a cool, inventive philosophy, and with a couple of signings and adapting a couple of players, maybe he can make it work in the Premier League. Like, I was sipping the Kool-Aid, but it's been nearly a year now, and the signings have not really worked, and the players have not adapted, and you are allowed to change your mind upon the presentation of new facts. My mind has changed, and yet Ruben Amorim sits and watches these lads struggle every single week and does not change his mind. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make here is it's not working for their best player. That's why it's not working, but also I don't think that it doesn't have to work. He has not suddenly become bad overnight, and he should not be getting pelters on the internet for not heading the ball away outside the 6-yard box. But if you're a Man United fan, guess what? Your opinion's worth 10 times what mine is, so please get it in the comments below so I can assess the mood. If I just slightly overreacted to a couple of tweets, wouldn't be the first time, but let me know what you think of him and the system. Do you want this to continue? Are you done? Have you had enough? All thoughts, feelings, song, verse, lyric in the comments below. We love all that. And we love all that so much. In fact, that's why we've launched the channel memberships thing. So if you're enjoying all this, but you'd like some exclusive videos, some videos that you get to pick, some like live stuff we do, more interaction, like a community style thing with an FPL league and discounts on merchandise, you're robbing me blind at the price we're charging for this, I think, but that was the whole idea. So please do sign up for that. It's starting literally now already, and it would be really nice to have as many of you over there as possible. I'm very excited about it. And you can, of course, get me across all the social medias at Adam Clery, C-L-E-R-Y. Please do subscribe to the channel if you've not already. We are on the way to nice big numbers, and that makes me incredibly happy. But until next time, they've got Chelsea at the weekend, which weirdly I think they'll win, but I'm not sure why. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!